We're rolling.
Nice.
Oh, I've never said that ever. Hello and a warm welcome to episode 114 of the Building Sustainability Podcast. I'm Jeffrey Hart, and every fortnight join me as I talk to designers, builders, makers, dreamers and doers. Together we can explore the wide world of sustainability in the built environment by talking to wonderful people who are doing excellent things. And today's wonderful person is Julz Baker, who is a natural builder based out of Lewis. This episode is perfect for New Year because it is about fresh starts and really focuses on what Julz learned from his company, Kind Construction, and where he's taking that now. Before the episode, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who sent in questions for the Yule special. We did ask each other all of the questions that were sent in, but the recording ended up at almost 3 hours, so a lot had to be edited. The questions were all great, I should say, but honestly, some of the answers were rubbish. So they had to go. So yeah, once again, thank you to everyone that sent something in. Apologies if yours didn't make the cut. And also a huge thanks to Mike for his work co-piloting the now annual Yuletime shenanigans. Okay, patrons, we have one new supporter this week, and that is Denise. Denise has supported at the higher level, which means there will be a hand-carved spoon coming your way soon. And our guest today, Julz, is also a patron supporter and also got himself a hand-carved wooden spoon. And this is what he has to say about it.
I've still got my wooden spoon.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good. Do you use it?
I do. It's good for porridge. That's my porridge spoon.
Excellent.
Reminds me of being a little bear.
Nice one, Julz. If you would like to join Julz and have a porridge spoon of your own, then head on over to patreon.com/building sustainability. In return, you not only get 11 odd hours of bonus content, including 20 minutes from today's podcast guest, Julz Baker, but you also get to listen to the podcast advert free via a special link in the Patreon page. Also, you make me really happy. What else to say? Oh, podcast stats. We've just passed 250,000 downloads, which is pretty big news. And according to our hosting, we are in round about the top 6 to 8% of all the podcasts out there in terms of downloads. So that's pretty good, isn't it? Also, show notes. Make sure you check out the show notes of this episode to follow up on any of the bits we talk about. There's a link to Julz's work. Really, anything that comes up, there'll be a link. So have a look there. Sharing. I am actually giving myself a break from social media. I've realised it's not particularly healthy in my life, and it does somewhat present a little bit of an issue in that I can't promote this podcast as such. I will still be sending out graphics to all of my guests for them to share. If you do see one of those and you want to share it, then please do. I feel quite hypocritical of asking you to do anything on social media if I am taking a break from it. But yes, please do continue to share. It really is the very best way of finding new listeners and hopefully inspiring them to build better. Okay, so about this episode, it was recorded at the Kind Supply warehouse. It was raining pretty heavily. It's a big old warehouse. We stuffed up every little crack with beautiful hemp insulation, and I ended up soundproofing the room by sort of draping hemp around the place. It really is a multifunctional product. Yeah, imagine that. I would put a photo on social media, but I can't do that anymore. Maybe I'll try and put one in the show notes on the website. So if you want to see what Julz looks like, how we soundproof the room, there's a bit of hemp insulation underneath the microphone because Julz was prone to gesticulating and really hammering out his points. So we added in a bit of padding. There's also an unofficial sponsor. Julz brought some kombucha along. We drink that, so you occasionally hear a little glug. And what else to say? Oh, tangents. We wander often and far, and occasionally we remember what we're talking about and pull it back. Sometimes we just go off. It is what happens when you put two natural builders in a room. They're going to chat all the things. So yeah, I think someone once commented on a another episode with a natural builder that it was a bit like listening in on a pub conversation. And I suspect this one might be a little bit like that, only that it's kombucha we're chugging. Right, that's it from me. I am back at the end. I hope you enjoyed Julz Baker.
Cheers, Jeffrey.
Kombucha cheers.
Kombucha cheers. Shout out to our Old Tree Brewery.
Yeah. Hemp and, hop and hemp.
Yeah, it's good, eh?
That is delicious.
Made in Sussex. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're doing some good things.
Keeping it local.
I feel like I'm on like blind date or something. My name's Julz.
I'm a Virgo.
I'm actually a Taurus. Couldn't you tell?
Classic Taurus.
Classic Taurus. My name's Julz. I am a natural builder.
Oh, the old, how do you describe this?
Yeah. I'm calling myself that.
Yep.
I run a company called Unearthed. We are specialising in clay, lime and stonework here in Sussex.
Beautiful Sussex.
Yeah.
Based out of Lewes.
Yeah, we're based out of Lewes, just outside of Brighton. Lovely Lewes. Most of our work's kind of Lewes, Brighton area. Seem to be, lots of good things going on around here.
There's the right type of person around here, isn't there?
Yeah, Lewes, lovely place. Lots of people here that kind of seem to have really bought into like what we do and how we want to build, and are looking to educate themselves on the right way to build, the right way to maintain their buildings. Lewes is a conservation zone, so and it's in the South Downs National Park, so there's quite a lot around the heritage of the town, and the National Park Authority are doing a good job, I suppose, of preserving the heritage. So a lot of the buildings, you've had a walk around Lewes today.
That's lovely. Had a lovely time.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of lime, lots of flint.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of stone,
There was
lots
a
of brick.
lovely timber framed bell tower thing at the top of the high street.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah.
I saw that from a distance when I was on the phone to you and went, I'm walking that way.
Yeah, loads of lovely buildings. Like history of brick making here, and where we're sitting now, this used to be an old foundry ironworks. Quite a good history of like manufacturing, making, building.
Nice. Presumably because it's on the river.
Yeah, it's on the river. Yeah.
So good trade routes.
Yes. Yeah, good clay up the road, still good brickyards just outside of town. Quite a lot of stuff still made here, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
So regular listeners
Yeah.
might know you were with a different company name.
Yes. So I now say the former director of Kind Construction and Kind Supply. Kind Supply is still very much operational. Kind Construction, we decided to close down, which was a big decision, really big decision. Love Kind Construction, love what we did, love everything that we were trying to build. We're really trying to build a positive force for change in the building industry. Everything we did, we kind of came from a place of positivity, sustainability and kindness, and tried to make a real impact and shift within the industry, which I think it needs.
Definitely, yeah.
General industry as a whole needs a bit of a kick up the bum, and in terms of kind of building sustainably, how they treat people right through the chain, all the stakeholders involved, from clients to architects, subcontractors, everyone just needs to just work with a little bit more positivity and kindness. And that's what we tried to inject into the company. So I was as director of Kind for 4 years, and got some fantastic memories, fantastic learnings from it. Unfortunately, we got to that point where we thought it was best to close the company. Kind Supply still operates. So Andrew, who was my business partner at Kind Construction, he is now operating Kind Supply. and I have unearthed my true passion.
Oh,
Sorry.
Just did a little sick in my mouth.
It's the kombucha, right?
Yeah. Was there a moment like when you decided you'd had enough, or like it wasn't working out how you wanted it to?
There were a few. There wasn't one particular factor that really was like the deciding point. I did have a moment when I was standing in a bathroom between a tiler and an electrician, kind of disputing about a socket for an electrical towel rail, thinking, I don't care. But yeah, that wasn't the deciding factor for why I closing the company down. I think a lot of builders. I started off as a builder. I started off as a bricklayer. I did a brickwork apprenticeship. I am very practical. I like working with my hands. Good at building things. That's what I like doing. I like getting my hands dirty. I like working with lime. I like working with clay. I love natural materials. I love the idea of building in a natural and sustainable way. That's where my passion is. So obviously formed a company around that passion, and then brought in the other core values which were so important to me, the positivity and the kindness. But I think this happens all too often. People who are good at building move into or start their own construction companies, building firms, whatever they may want to call it, and you just kind of get repositioned as a project manager. I had no training as a project manager, no prior experience as a project manager. I did like an online course, which was actually fantastic. Didn't really teach me how to be a project manager. It kind of taught some leadership skills, which was great. And I did learn a lot from it, which I can bring forward. But lots of people, they just kind of get landed in that project management role. And it's not really what I wanted to be doing. So...
It didn't get you out of bed in the morning?
No, that side of it didn't get me out of bed in the morning. I like seeing the overall project, and I like seeing kind of a renovation or a retrofit, or I did like seeing the steps along the way, and I like the camaraderie on site. I loved what we built, and we had some fantastic people working for us. I didn't really care walking around a kitchen with a client deciding how many spotlights they want, or the position of their light sockets or switches. That didn't excite me. Working with clay excites me. Working with lime excites me. So it's like, I took the, what you're good at, what you like doing, found that sweet spot, and started Unearthed.
Nice.
Yeah. There wasn't one factor. There wasn't one factor in closing down Kind.
But so, I mean, just, it might seem like you've, maybe to a listener, that you've just started up a new business with a different name.
Yeah.
Like, how is it fundamentally different?
So it is fundamentally different because we are now just doing the specialist work. Doing the work I love doing and my team loves doing. So we're going to work as subcontractors. So we'll work alongside main contractors to help.
Someone else can deal where the sockets are going.
Yeah.
And that bloody towel rail, not your problem.
Yeah. But someone else will be really good at that.
Yeah.
Because that is somebody else's sweet spot. Somebody else gets out of bed in the morning because they love project managing. They like, and that's great. And you need those people, and you need the practical people. So we're fundamentally different now because we're just more hands-on. I'm back on the tools myself with a smaller team, just taking on those specialist items. So like our first job for Unearthed is just perfect. It's exactly what I want to be doing.
What is it?
We're building a lovely, so the pre-existing roundhouse, which you very kindly pointed out on Instagram, isn't actually round.
I've never seen a roundhouse with a right angle, but
it has got a right angle in the corner. It's, I don't know what shape you call it. I suppose you've got a right angle in the corner, which isn't actually very square at all. And then, maybe it's more of an octagon, but with a right angle.
Yeah.
But it's It's the easiest way to describe
It's
that.
semantics. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's roundish, more round than square. So yeah, so that was already there, pre-existing, and we are kind of beefing up the insulation. It's got some beautiful cladding on the outside and timber frame, and so I think the person who built it probably built it in that time where natural material wasn't so readily available. So when Kind Supply wasn't down the road, where you could get some beautiful hemp insulation.
I forgot that you love that bit.
Yeah, it's my favourite. And so they built it, and they put some PIR within the stud. So they kind of got like all the elements right-ish. It's got a lovely living roof and beautiful roundwood timbers. But then the new people that own the house, they've wanted to put their little touch on it. So we built new wall around the inside out of hemp blocks, and we are currently applying a nice clay plaster supplied by Will.
Lovely.
Shout out Mr. Stanwicks.
Yeah,
he has to have a mention on every one of your podcasts.
I don't know, he needs to answer his phone, otherwise he's going to stop getting mentioned.
Fair play. I think there was one where you mentioned it 5 times. I can't remember that, but I was half an hour.
Oh yeah, it's just in the intro as well.
Well, he's doing good stuff, isn't he?
He is.
So, Will supplied us with some lovely clay, and we've had some fun putting a base coat on this week. And then we're going to go back and top it all up, and we've just been experimenting with some pigments and some different colours and.
Lovely. Well, it's lovely to hear you talk. That's clearly what you're passionate about. Yeah. Your face is so smiley.
It's like when you came round to our job and you did lovely earth floor, and I just remember you mixing up some clay, and you just came back the next day and just putting the finger in it. We've just got such a connection with clay, which I think, unless you've worked with it in some context, or I imagine everyone's probably had that experience as a kid, just playing with it at a festival or a pottery class. Yeah. It just does good things to our soul, doesn't it?
If you give someone a little lump of clay mud, and then you just ask them to hold it, and you sort of come back we used to do it in a big group. Sort of ask them to hold it, and you come back sort of within a couple of minutes, and some people have made a little donut, some people, have flattened it out really. A pancake. Everyone has just played it and kneaded it and felt it and connected with it, and it's working out its properties and what it can do. It's lovely.
It's an amazing substance, and it's we've evolved around it and built with it for thousands of years. I think it's a real deep part of our evolution, and it just does good things. So we're just working with what we love now. Doing brickwork, that was where I started, really. That was my apprenticeship, and saying around Lewis, there's loads of beautiful historic buildings with nice clay fired bricks and lime mortar. I love that. I think the art of brickwork's lost. It's I think it's a really sad I've got an apprentice now. Shout out Sonny Boy. He's a brickwork apprentice. I've sent him to college because I think you learn some really wonderful core skills throughout brickwork. Even if he doesn't do a great deal, he's doing a lot of plastering with us, and he loves it. He's taken on to that quite naturally. He loves working with hemp and clay and lime, and I just think it's really sad now. His college course, he's not going to qualify as a level 3 bricklayer.
Right.
He's going to qualify as a 2.7.
What?
Isn't it just such a slap around the face? It's just such an insult to tradespeople everywhere that you don't even get a level 3 anymore.
Does level 3 still exist?
I don't know, not around here.
Wow.
I'm sure it exists somewhere. So when I went, days gone by, back in the day, you did 3 years and you came out of a level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you do 2 years and you come out to 2.7.
Well, I mean, you could argue that's better value.
Yeah, he does get an extra 7.
He gets 0.7 for free.
True. Yeah. I don't think they're going to learn as much, though. But they're just what I'm getting at, I suppose, that lost art of brickwork where they're just going to come out as sight machines, aren't they? That's what they're training them as now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Slap dashing up houses in a
Or
very...
putting like brick slips on the outside of
Yeah,
something else.
Yeah,
Someone quickly
yeah.
put up SIP panel.
yeah, that's happening.
You don't need to say panel when you say SIP.
No.
That's like saying pin number. I don't need to get into this rant.
Everyone says PIN number.
I know. Personal identification number.
Yeah, true. There's a few like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, SIP panel.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, that's sort of most of bricklaying now. I suppose
Yeah.
things like probably just the Prince's Foundation. Like,
Yeah.
they're still championing proper brickwork, and
Yeah.
but there's a really great demonstration project in Dumfries House that was led by them.
Nice.
And I didn't know anything about brickwork before I went there, and they were saying like the mark of a really good would you call it a mason brick?
Yeah, they were like traditionally a mason, weren't
A good bricky.
Yeah.
That's safe ground.
they? Yeah.
Is having consistent mortar beds.
Yeah.
And like if you can have really thin mortar beds,
Yeah.
then it means you can do different shapes.
Yeah.
So it means you're sculpting those bricks more perfectly,
Yeah.
rather than just like, oh, there's a brick with loads of goop between it.
Oh yeah, you see like the old Victorian buildings. Like, yeah, there's real nice thin joints, beautiful bricks, like amazing arches, and they used to do like the viaducts and stuff like that. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Huge arches that like go on. Yeah. Level 2.7 couldn't do that. Yeah. So so on that as well, we're kind of on the mason side, I suppose. Yeah, doing stonework. There's lots of flint is our stone, our Sussex stone. The sandstone, like in the Weald, which is so we're like on the downs, and then the Weald's below, and you get good sandstone there. But yeah, flint's great because it's free, and the farmers don't want it. So with all the flint that comes, kind of what we build with here, comes from farmers' fields. When they're ploughing their fields, they're turning up the flint. They just throw it to the side of the field because they don't want it. You can't grow your crops through a big, absolutely rock hard stone.
Yeah.
So they chuck it to the side of the fields, and then they have just deals with different builders or flint wallers. So then they can take the stone. It's a good symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Build it with lime, and then it's a great way to build.
Yeah.
Great way to build.
That's really interesting. I like that there's that relationship.
Yeah. And you look around Lewes as well. There's some lovely stonework around Lewes, and that came from the old priory that got blown up by Henry VIII. And then over the years, it was just a ruin. It's all very well protected now, and it's all beautiful, and they made it like a tourist attraction. But an old ruin that got blown up, and then people have just pillaged it over the years. So I quite like spotted it now. If you go around, and there's quite nice garden walls in people's houses, and you look quite low down, there's lovely bits of stone, and you can tell they've come from the old ruin.
Nice. Someone was saying a similar thing about Hadrian's Wall. It's like I went up to Hadrian's Wall last year, and there isn't actually very much wall.
Oh, really? Just everyone's nicked it.
I think over the years, there's probably a lot of farmhouses with, nice bits of Hadrian's Wall foundations or something. But actually, what's left as a wall, a recognisable wall, is pretty minimal.
Very interesting. But again, it's sensible way to
recycling,
build,
isn't it?
It is recycling.
Someone's gone to the effort of quarrying all that stuff.
Yeah. So again, they're building in a kind of circular, sustainable way, and what we're trying to achieve now. But I suppose without nicking it now, you you build relationships with farmers, or you're growing crops for regenerative building materials.
Yeah.
Or there's good companies that are making bricks out of waste. And also Yeah, it's what we're trying to achieve, I suppose. Circularity.
That's it. It's exactly what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, but just ask permission.
Stop nicking my wall.
Yeah.
Did Henry VIII himself blow it up?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was known for his...
Yeah, I think he just came along with a couple of sticks of dynamite. For,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lit up a big cigar, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't teach history, so...
No.
That's how bonfire night started. We love it here.
I've seen all of the Bonfire Society, is it?
Yeah,
They're out
seen
on
them
the
around
street.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in there. Stripy clobber looking a bit like Where's Wally, which I didn't dare say to them.
Yeah, they'll blow you up.
Yeah. Then there's that one thing that everyone's heard 1,000 times. It's like,
Yeah.
I bet that's it.
Do you know why they wear that? They all wear stripy.
So they can't find him in a crowd?
Yeah, for that exact reason.
Is it really?
Yeah, because when the police were trying to shut down bonfire night,
So is Where's Wally from this?
probably.
That
It
is his
probably
exact
actually
look.
is. Yeah, because they dress up as smugglers.
Yeah.
Because for that exact reason. Because when they were, I did point
This
out
is a
earlier,
history.
I'm not a history teacher. But yeah, it's that exact reason. Because when they were trying to shut down bonfire night, they all wore stripy smugglers jumpers and the same hat, and they blacked out their faces, which is controversial and you're not allowed to do anymore.
Yeah.
But and then the police couldn't arrest people and they just carried on. Yeah.
And when did they start calling him Wally?
It was a policeman running around, wasn't it? Where's Wally?
Well, I never. So we went off on quite a brick tangent there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's from that it's clear that your passion for the materials and the skills and the trades is there.
Yes.
Can I drag you back to the bad time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite over it yet. I'm still in this trauma, so drag me back in.
I feel like one of those actual journalists who's just asking horrible questions.
Now, I did say pre-podcast, I'm here. I can be open, honest. Like, honest, vulnerable conversations need to happen, and I'm happy to talk about the good times and the bad times, and then hopefully other people can learn from it as well.
Yes, I think that's exactly true. And thank you for that.
Yeah, and it all goes back to that kind of spirit of kind and why we started it and the positivity around it and the kindness. So if a couple of people can kind of learn from mistakes where we went wrong, hopefully you can not do it on your business.
Good, great. Well, I'll hold off on renaming you as Julz Mean in my phone.
We have been called Unkind Construction before. Yeah, that was a funny one. So it was
in jest, or
no. This guy was deadly serious. So we were going to do a job for him, and this was like early days when you kind of like say yes to everything, and it wasn't really a kind job. He wanted a skylight put in. He had a lovely house, like top of town, and he wanted a skylight put in, and he seemed like quite a nice guy at first, and it was all kind of going well. And then he was quite keen to just get it started. And then we had a great chippy that worked for us. And he started messaging him, and he sent him like messages at kind of, one was at 2 a.m, one was at 4 a.m, like asking questions about the job and when can you start? Number one, he should have really come to us. And then I did ring him up and was like, please, can you not contact our team at 4 a.m? And he threw that a whole "do you know who I am" at me, and then sent me a big long shitty email and called us Unkind Construction. Because I told him what's good.
Do you know who he is?
I'm not going to name names.
Oh, I mean, is he someone famous?
Well, he's an OBE or a CBE, or he's got some kind of title. But
wow, that doesn't allow for 4 a.m. anything.
Nah, he didn't like it because I said I'm not going to do his job. But because, again, going back to the core values why we started Kind, and around kindness, and it's respecting people's boundaries, isn't it? No one should get a call about work or a message about work at 4:00 in the morning.
No. To be fair, I'd be telling you, Chippy, to put his phone on airplane mode, but
yeah. So, but we were always open for criticism and ridicule. If you're calling yourself kind, I suppose it's a good target to throw back at someone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
You're the man in the arena when you're putting yourself out there as that, I believe. But I was always willing to take that.
I mean, I think being called unkind as an insult is sort of the softest insult you can give.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah. It did really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys were doing, like, there was big interest, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was big interest. And that's why I think it was a really tough decision. Yeah, we shut down a company. We had 75 inquiries on our spreadsheet.
Wow.
When we shut the company down. So there was definitely interest. And that's one of the things I'm most proud of from Kind, actually. I think we've really started a bit of a wave of natural building or sustainable building around this area. Been a few other companies that since have kind of popped up, doing similar things. And that was, again, a big driver to start Unearthed, because we were, as Kind Construction, we were just stuck on a project, we were on a project, willingly stuck on a project.
Being paid to be there.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's part of the next story. So we were on a project maybe for like 6 months, 8 months, and doing some wonderful work and for some lovely customers. But I think now with Unearthed, we've got the ability to have a much greater impact, because if we can now collaborate with a few other builders, because a bit of a wave, and you've obviously seen it, there has been a shift in the way people are wanting to build, and there's been a big movement within architects, and ACAN are doing some fantastic things, I think, helping promote that, and there's expos around, and there's loads of good stuff going on at the moment.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
One great podcast.
There's a really, really good podcast. I can't remember what its name is. What's it called? Some Geoff or something. Your podcast is very inspiring in my journey, actually, Jeffrey.
Oh, thank you. I can't actually take any more of that because I got met by Amy today.
Oh, yeah.
She said some really lovely things, which just makes me feel incredibly awkward.
I love this because you were telling me the story of I've just read out on my podcast that I'm incredibly humble as was it
was a review.
And you said, I can't believe I've just read out on a podcast. I'm so incredibly humble. Is that the most unhumble thing that anyone could do? And then I met Amy at Future Build like the week after, and she was like, I just left Jeffrey a podcast review. And it was brilliant because I had no idea. So, I had a good laugh about that.
Yeah.
That was a really good review.
It was a really good review. And she's doing really incredible things.
Yeah, Amy's great. Shout out, Amy.
Yeah.
So she is doing good things. Yeah, she described your podcast as a gateway drug, which I quite liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's for positive change, isn't it? But
gateway drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good. It's but that kind of goes back to what we're talking about as well, and this is something that Amy really heavily promotes. Accelerating change.
Yes.
So loops back round to exactly what I was talking about.
It's almost like we're singing from the same hymn sheet,
isn't it?
To use a popular phrase.
I won't sing. But we were on kind of construction jobs for kind of maybe 6-8 months, and doing some fantastic work and doing nice retrofits or sustainable builds, top to bottom renovations, extensions. And we were doing good, like, natural or sustainable elements, but now with the new company Unearthed, hopefully we can collaborate with a few other builders. So in that kind of 6 months where we were just doing one project previously, we might be able to flip between, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different projects in that time, working with other people, and hopefully upskill some other builders along the way.
Yeah, certainly inspire.
Yeah, and it just takes the pressure off them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
off the conventional builders.
Yeah. So if you're a main contractor, you've been handed a set of drawings with like a load of clay plaster on, for example. That's in the spec, and they're scratching their head and asking their plasterer who's only worked with gypsum for the last 20 years. It takes that pressure off them now. They can obviously come round to us. We would love to do the job. We can collaborate with them, hopefully inspire them, teach their plasterer how to do it.
Yeah.
Put us out of work. But that's what it's all about, because that's what we want to do as well. And we're going to collaborate with the crew down here at Kind Supply, and we're going to run training workshops. And yeah, we do. We need to accelerate the rate of change within the industry, because it's a bit stuck in its ways, isn't it? And a bit toxic in more than one way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely changing. It's hard to know how much of that is because is it just your bubble and you're I keep talking to natural builders.
Yeah.
So I think the whole world is natural building.
Yeah, I do as well. I know I was talking to someone else about this, and it was a bit of a wake up call to me when they explained that. Like 90% of the people outside of I don't have a clue what we're actually talking about. The Sunny Boy, I was talking about our apprentice, his assessor came round to our job the other day. I was like, come in, have a look. I couldn't quite work out what he made of it. He was just like, yeah, just kind of nodded a bit. I think he thought we were a bunch of whacked out hippies building with hemp and clay.
Probably.
But, yeah.
I went to visit a site a little while back, and there was a guy there who's he listened to the podcast actually. Hey, Greg. He big fan of the podcast. When he saw me, he was like, "What are you doing here?" And sort of gave me the tour of the building, of the site.
Yeah.
Introduced me to a load of the like the conventional. He's like the natural builder on site.
Yeah.
Working with a load of conventional people.
Yeah.
And like they just, didn't have a clue, didn't really know how to interact with it. This guy Greg was trying to keep the straw bales dry, and like some had got wet.
Yeah.
And he had to sort through them all to make sure that the wet ones didn't come in, and they were just like, well, just put the straw bales in there. It's like, no, we need to sort them. Everyone on that site, except for that one guy, was sort of,
well, I think
confused by it.
We definitely are in a little bubble, but I think that's part of like the next phase of what I'm trying to achieve with the business. And we can run training and workshops, and I want to get into the college. I want to get in and speak to these kind of...
You're a bit old, mate.
I've got loads to learn though.
Just give me my final 0.3.
I want to go and talk to these 2.7ers, and because if they're doing a brickwork course, take them a hemp block. It's not too foreign. It's like, I think they'll understand the principles of it. It's just what they've been doing. So I mean, those kind of like easy transitional switches.
Yeah, I mean, they're the quick wins, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like switch out a bat of hemp insulation for the rock wall insulation.
Yeah.
It installs very much the same way.
Yeah. It is. We went we did with the Kind Spy crew, we went to like a very much conventional like tool place in Brighton, and it was just your conventional builders coming in. Most of them hadn't seen hemp or wood fibre or it was actually the Pava Textile P, the recycled denim.
Oh yeah.
They loved it. Because I think everyone's got a pair of old jeans at home, and they were coming in and he went, it's so soft. It's denim and velvet. And it's like,
hang on, were you there like demonstrating, or were you just there buying a...
No, I was there demonstrating.
Okay, I thought you were just there like trying to buy a new bit for your angle grinder.
Just rubbing denim on people's faces.
I just came in for a drill bit, but now I'm hugging some denim.
No, we were there to demonstrate. We set up a little stall in the
that makes more sense.
foyer bit as you walked in, and collared builders and went, build with this. But they loved it. They were like, oh, I've been working with Rockwool all morning. Like, yeah, it is. You're right. They're the easy wins, I think, insulation and yeah. And I think, but I was laughing. Me and Connor were talking about this. Connor's our plasterer. You've worked with Connor.
Smooth plaster.
Yeah.
Smooth plaster.
Mr. Smooth.
He's also a pretty handy floor installer.
He is. He's very good, Connor. Very, very good. He's, fantastic person, a wonderful tradesperson. But we were laughing about this the other day. We were wondering, like, when like gypsum plaster came out or like Portland cement, do you think everyone was moaning about it then? Or the plasterers using lime, or like all the brickies using lime?
Well, I mean, the cement one, I think most of them, it was post-war, wasn't it? Everyone's coming back.
Yeah,
either
maybe.
being shell-shocked or didn't come back or didn't want to go back into the trade they were doing. So, yeah, I think that, sorry, that's put a pretty somber reflection on your nice point.
Because that would have
people
been
don't
quite
like
good
change, do they?
No, and that would have been quite a big shift. But I don't know, we obviously weren't there. So it might have been over many years, or a lot of it's post-war.
I suppose the shift, like with sand and cement, as I understand, I don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just that it's easier.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to look after it the same way as you'd have to do for a lime plaster.
Yeah.
So actually, like, there was still that. I think we sort of seem to be past that point now where, like, the 80s, 90s, where ease was like the thing, wasn't it? Like microwave meals and all that kind of convenience. And now we're seeing like, oh, actually, nutrition.
Yeah.
That's important, isn't it?
Live kombucha.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting paid a whole lot by Old Tree Brewery, aren't we?
Yeah, well, if they pay me a kombucha, I'm absolutely fine. I spend a small fortune on this. I've been meaning to make my own, but it's very nice.
So I think it's quite easy for a thing that's, simpler, harder to muck up, to sort of come in and take over.
Yeah, people probably were a bit more receptive to it.
But little did they know they were destroying buildings.
Yes.
Creating damp problems, ruining lives.
Well, it has, hasn't it? I spend so much of my time like going around to buildings and just going, well, yeah, you've got damp there because you've got a load of gypsum plaster on a solid wall. But most homeowners have no idea. They've bought a house in all goodwill. I went round to the job, it's a few weeks ago now, and a beautiful, beautiful house and solid wall construction. And she was like, oh, we just got a line of damp along here. And it's like in the kind of kitchen at the back of the house. I was like, yeah, you've had a damp proofing system put in, haven't you? And she was like, yeah, how did you know? And I was like, well, because you can see, there's like a big thick coat of sand and cement and Vandex under that gypsum, and the damp's just tracked up, and there's just a line around the room. And she was like, I spent thousands on that. I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to take it off, I'm afraid. And she was like, no. She wasn't very happy with me saying it, but
no one likes to be told that they've made a mistake, a costly mistake.
No, and that's it as well, because it's all like, they've gone into it with obviously the very best intentions and had a damp proof specialist come round, obviously, and sold them a system. And the damp proof specialist probably sold them the system in the best of will.
Yep.
I don't think they're going out their way to like go and con the old deer down the road, are they? They're trying to probably do their best. And
yeah, I suppose so.
You don't seem so convinced.
Well, I was told once that they all come with like a guarantee.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But the guarantee isn't that it will solve damp. It just is a guarantee of like the material won't break down or something like that. And so they're going, well, it's got this guarantee, 50-year guarantee.
Yeah.
That's got to be worth something. It's going to solve my damp problem.
Yeah.
But it's not guaranteeing against that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know that that's sort of second, third-hand information that may not be true.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk bad about people.
Have you used the Rinzano plaster yet?
No, but I was down here coincidentally when it was the
Yeah, you came for the workshop.
Yes.
Well, you didn't mean to come to the workshop.
No, I just
You
popped
just
in.
walked in and broke my hand sander.
Your hand sander was on its way out. It was wobbly when I first turned it on.
It wasn't even mine. I don't know where it came from.
So in that case, I regret nothing.
I think Andrew gave you a broken hand sander and it's like, here you go. Yeah. Yeah, we've just done a little room under the road with it. So it's it's an Italian lime plaster with volcanic ash in it, and it's apparently what a lot of Venice is plastered with,
Right.
and it's holding back the canals, so it must be doing somewhat of a good job. But we've just done a little kind of cupboard essentially under the road.
Right.
We haven't. It's the first time using it. And I said to the clients, there's like a gas main coming through it, and there's a water main coming through it, and so we couldn't obviously absolutely guarantee the system because there are holes in it. But it seemed to really work.
It was so the presentation I saw
Yeah.
that day. The guy was saying you plaster it on, and then if you come back the next day or something, and there's a dark patch, and you plaster that again.
Yeah.
But it was rough as anything. They were just kind of chucking it on. It wasn't, plastering as we would know it.
No. So Mr. Smooth did it for us.
Absolutely. It was smooth then.
Yeah, so he did 2 coats of that on the masonry, and then we topped it basically with a lime render. Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah. And also there was the other product, which I am so unsure about. It's the aerogel insulating plaster.
Yeah.
Which there was the thing that made me laugh so much was I said, what is that aerogel though? It doesn't sound like it's going to be a nice thing. And the guy went, well, it's 98% air.
Air's good.
You can't argue with that.
Isn't it?
I suppose what that 2% is quite important.
It's silica, isn't it?
Is that what it is? So silica is what everything's made of.
Yeah. It's
Silica rather than silicon.
Yeah, so silicon is made from silica, right? It's that's my understanding of it.
I think they're two separate things. I think silicon is the plasticky one.
Yeah.
Silica is a sort of mineral.
Yeah, it is a mineral. So my understanding that it's a silica which it was developed by NASA. So I probably should have done my homework on this before talking about it. It's a silica that somehow turned into a foam, and then it's really lightweight, and then you were questioning the vapor permeability of it though, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because of
what's the point in having a lime plaster if you then put something in it to make it insulating that?
Yeah.
But then I suppose, I'd hope that product manufacturers are, if they're making it with lime, they're thinking about that already.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't compromise that. Because otherwise they might as well just make cement with aerogel in it.
Yeah, very true.
So maybe I've sort of talked myself around a bit.
I suppose if you think of the aerogel as a little tiny aggregate.
But it needs to be quite a lot of it, doesn't it? Because otherwise
it's not
you've just
work.
thermally bypassed.
Yeah, you've just lime plastered a wall essentially.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, but you're not getting any insulation value.
No.
And it's well, it if it does what it says on the tin, it's thermal resistance. It's apparently very good.
It's supposed to be excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess where I sit is that, I like tried and tested materials.
Yeah.
There's all that thing at the moment with the aerated concrete that's all crumbling and in schools and stuff.
Yeah.
It's how long do you need to leave a material before you're sure it's not going to do something unexpected? Because I think
Yeah.
all that stuff was done best of intentions. Also probably a bit saving money. But
Yeah. Government
Yeah.
contracts.
yeah, I wouldn't want to go and slap a load in someone's house and then it destroy their house in some way.
Yeah. We've used it on a project. We've used it on a couple, actually. We actually did it on a wood fibre board. So stuck the wood fibre boards back to masonry,
Yeah.
mechanically fixed, and then put the aerogel on that.
Mm-hmm.
And where I thought it was quite handy is like if you've got a room with a beautiful...
Why did you need to aerogel over wood fibre? Wasn't the wood fibre insulating enough?
Well, because they didn't want to lose lots of depth.
Oh, because the aerogel is so insulative.
Yeah.
So
I think we could go down to like a 32mm wood fibre.
Right. Well, that is beneficial.
It might have been a 50, but yeah, we could decrease the wood fibre and then put the aerogel plaster. It's expensive though.
Yeah.
But for rooms with like cornice and stuff, it's quite good if you
cornice.
Yeah.
Is that like cornice?
Yeah. Decorative coving within a room.
Oh, coving.
Yeah.
I see. Yes. Say it again.
I know. Cornice.
Cornice.
I'm from Lewis, It's when you haven't had to kind of, because that could be costly for a client, and if you're not trying to meet regs, if it's just like a refurb, but you want to increase the thermal efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I want to believe in it.
Yeah,
but I'm just hesitant.
Yeah, fair enough.
Definitely going to call it cornice though.
So you tried to bring me back to the bad old days a bit earlier.
I did, yeah.
So,
and then we've just ended up geeking out about materials.
Yeah.
as per usual.
Yeah.
Get a couple of natural building geeks in a room.
Yeah. Stick a load of hemp insulation around it. And, yeah. So would you be able to edit this back earlier? Or
I could. Or I think people will enjoy us trying to claw it back.
Yeah.
So remember that thing we were going to talk about?
Yeah. So like 25 minutes ago, you asked me a question, which I didn't quite answer.
Yeah.
So other kind of learnings and pitfalls from kind construction, I suppose. I said there was like a multitude of factors. I think one of which, especially in the early days, was we'd quite often get a client contact us. They've already got building regs. They've been through planning, or they've been through planning and going in for building regs. They've got a set of drawings. They've all appointed an architect. They come to us all excited. They want a sustainable build, or I've gone round there and kind of sold them the kind dream, as it were, and talked about lots of lovely natural materials and gave them a big cheesy smile and 2 thumbs up. And they've sort of a tanking system. So we kind of get to that point where, especially in the early days, where either I ended up doing loads of work for free because I wanted to change the job to a more kind way to build.
Oh, what? So they got you in to do a sustainable build, but all the drawings were for
conventional build.
Right.
Yeah. So we had a few like this. So Eva did a load of work for free and managed to kind of get the architect on board, where they weren't administering a contract and kind of just handed it over. And as long as we were meeting building regs on certain points in the job, they were happy. They left it to us. But that was quite costly, I think, for us. Financially, definitely.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to stick to I definitely wanted to stick to our values. Otherwise, what the hell was the point of doing it?
Yeah.
So, that happened a few times. Also, what happened a few times is just projects never started. I'd, get some drawings. Clients would get they'd already got quite far on a project. They got architects' drawings, they got engineers' drawings, and then I'm like, why don't we build it out of hempcrete?
You derailed the whole thing.
Yeah, and then just lots of back and forth. They might have happened, and they might have just like binned us to one side. I'm not sure. But the clients would get really excited about it. I'd get really excited about it. But then, it happened a couple of times. There was lots of back and forth. Some projects just didn't happen. So from a kind of main contractor perspective, that, wasn't very successful for us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, as you well know, like material choice has to be built into that design stage.
Yeah.
So now I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I'm working with architects at the design stage.
Nice.
And doing some consultation work and actually getting paid for that work, which I did for free like a few years ago. We help out with the design stage because then the project, everyone's on board with it. And then now, obviously, with the new business model with Unearthed, we will then help and support and do some of those natural elements or help advise on the insulation or the wall build-ups throughout. And then the Unearthed team can kind of carry out the work as well. So, we can kind of be on the project throughout, but at slightly more of a distance as well. So they appoint a client or the architect appoints a main contractor. They can have the headaches about electrical light switches. And we come in and do the work we love. So, I
like it.
Yeah.
And there are...
Indeed.
But I don't think I need to say any more on that point. There obviously is a hole in the market for people that want to do the whole thing, be the project lead, do it properly, go through all of that. It doesn't seem like there's a huge amount of people wanting to do that.
No.
Is there? I don't
Running
know if I stand by that, actually.
Hawkland are running a design and build service, aren't they? Doing wonderful things in Bristol.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if we stayed operational with Kind Construction, that's 100% the direction we would have gone into.
Yeah.
Just done design and build. And done the projects our way. But unfortunately, we didn't make it to that point. That was part of the dream, part of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But there was, as I said, other factors along the way that kind of contributed to it. And one of which is just stress.
Yes.
Oh my days. Main contracting is a headache.
It's just endless problem solving, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, one big ball ache. It is. Like, I love building. I do like, but it's just one problem after another. Mm-hmm. It's just stress. And when sometimes you've got like 30 people on site and then across multiple jobs, I was just kind of getting questions from all angles. And they're fantastic people. And I love the crew and everyone who worked with us was great. And we had fantastic clients as well. But it's just stress. And there's so much research out now. And I don't know if you've been watching like the blue zones or,
No. I'm about to talk to someone about that for a podcast.
Oh, are you? I won't talk about it too much though.
Well, no, go for it.
No, well, just there's loads of research about stress and like it being one of the biggest. It's a killer, isn't it? Essentially. And I don't really want to live my life like that. I'm trying to simplify my life. Just running around all the time like a busy fool isn't the best modality for living.
Yeah.
So trying to simplify life. We've got a smaller team now, just doing the work we love and super passionate about. So that was a real big driving factor.
And you've got young family, haven't you?
Yeah. I've got two young girls and another one on the way.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, anytime now, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like literally could be tonight.
Really? And you've turned your phone off.
I actually did, yeah. Shit. No, it's not tonight. Due in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Georgina did laugh. She was like, "I'm going to labour. You'll still probably go and do this podcast, won't you?" I was like, "Yeah." No.
Jeffrey's a really good name.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. But so yeah, talking about kind of inspiring the next generation and stuff as well. Yeah, like when talking about clay and playing with clay, like my 8-year-old loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it. Like if we go to festivals or something like that, she'd always go and find a little clay corner and we'd do clay modelling together. And yeah, after school or at the weekends, coming down to the yard and yeah, I'll show you a couple of things she's made out there actually. Lovely little hemp and clay bird's nest with little eggs in it.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really nice. I can do some clay plaster samples or testing and yeah.
And little does she know she's being trained up to be a natural builder.
Yeah. But no, she's all for it. Her life goal is to live in the woods and build a house out of clay, and she's drawn her perfect house with a nice living roof, and yeah, it's got a big mushroom on the roof as well, which I like.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, she's all for it.
That's funny. That's sort of been my life goal.
Yeah,
forever.
You're nearly there. You need a big mushroom growing on your roof.
Yeah, I think I can sort that out.
Yeah.
If you were doing it all again, which I suppose you sort of are doing.
Yeah.
But like, what would you do differently? Did you set out to be this big all singing, all dancing company? Or did it just sort of snowball and because people were asking you to do things, you kept saying yes, and before you knew it, like, you're doing way more than you really want to?
Yeah. Yeah, we grew too big too quick.
Right.
I think we kind of got the brand right early. And because we were trying to, we were doing something different, that piqued interest.
Yeah.
I think most businesses who are setting out to kind of leaning into change spike a bit of interest. So yeah, I think we grew too big too quick. We didn't quite have our system set up. Like I said earlier, knew nothing about business. I didn't really know anything about project management. I was a builder who liked building stuff and wanted to kind of build in line with my values. So just ran with it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like getting inquiries in and doing projects and projects.
Of course we could build a block of flats.
Yeah. It's got poured out of concrete, haven't you? That's fine. It's and I think part of it we always went with values led approach for all of our crew, which is a wonderful thing and a wonderful idea in practice. And
what does values led approach with crew look like?
So you met some of them. And they're all fantastic,
lovely
people.
Human beings. Yeah.
Really, wonderful human beings. And I think that was what generally attracted me to them to come and work with the crew, because they're fantastic human beings, love what we were doing, love the idea of building in a natural, sustainable way. Mm-hmm. But perhaps not all of them had the best grounding or experience to kind of get through the work at a quick enough rate to kind of get out of jobs in a financially successful way. Because that's the problem as well. Quite often we were going up and we stopped tendering, by the way. I don't agree with it in any way. And I think that as a practice needs to be removed from the industry. Because you're going to sometimes going there's a project, 3 to 5 different contractors could be going for it. That's at least 2 people that have just wasted a load of time and money. I think that's, we need to get away from that as an industry. But we were going up against other people, whereas I didn't really see them as competition as such. I knew we were doing something different. So we just had to try and sell ourselves on why we were different or what we would do within the project in a kind of kind way. But then there was always a budget in mind. So we were probably always trying to be a little bit too flexible around that. And, building with natural materials, it can be more costly. Things can take longer, drying times and the such.
I think also being a company that does things properly. It's when you when you discover a problem or you discover something, it's like, wow, well, we're going to fix this properly because we care about how this building performs,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone else who might just, slap a bit of drywall over it and
Yeah. Budget and leg it.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that came up. That's a difficult thing to get around. Yeah, what I'd do differently is kind of what we're doing now. But I've got no regrets with Kind. It's all part of like the journey, and I learned so much from it, and I loved what we were doing. But I've come to a realization of like really trying to work with what we're passionate about, what we're good at.
So say you get a call from a client tomorrow, go like, oh, I've got this extension I want building.
Yeah. I'm going to say, don't call me on a Sunday, please.
It's 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because that's a nice chunk of work.
Yeah.
So you're going to turn that down?
So now I'm going to recommend a couple of really good, lovely main contractors, and that's what they do, and that's what they're good at, and say, these people are wonderful to work with. You should contact them to do the build, and then maybe we could come in to do these elements if you wanted to do it in this way.
That's good. That's setting boundaries, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I kind of know in my head like our right size projects, and then how deep we want to get involved within others.
It'd be interesting over time to see how well you stick to that.
Yes,
or because the projects might get bigger.
Yeah.
Still being smaller.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's sort of the line, which is a too big project, will move over time.
Well, like never say never. In a couple of years, if like the right project comes along, the right client, then may well. But right now, no.
Yeah.
But what I'm kind of trying to do, and there's the lovely Daniel from Studio UL, who I might have said that wrong as well. Yol, who has a desk down at the Kind Supply Warehouse. What I'm kind of trying to collaborate with him on is if he's getting clients who are wanting to build in a nice natural way, if he as an architect could potentially run the project, or maybe collaborating with other architects in that way, because the architect knows the job inside out, and quite often they just hand it over.
Do architects ever run jobs?
Sometimes they administer the contracts.
Yes.
But if they were kind of like overseeing it, but with a site foreman or a project manager potentially, and with the right teams, because that's where I found myself as well. I'm not a carpenter. I've never trained in carpentry. I know a fair bit about carpentry just from being around on building sites.
Yeah.
I'd have carpenters asking me how to do their job if they're working on a roof or something, for example. I don't know. That's like their trade. That's their area. Whereas, if we could collaborate with the right team, with a really strong team of carpenters, I think that's how I could see myself progressing into a bigger build, not potentially running it ourselves, but collaborating.
It's almost like collaboration is the future.
Yeah. But the problem is, and it's the problem with society, isn't it? It's who's going to take that risk. Who's the fool guy at the end of it? Because that's the thing. Like, the bottom line is, in your typical build, everything is the main contractor's fault.
Yeah.
Really. Like, the buck stops with them generally, or the architect if they're administering the contract. But yeah, but never say never. Right client, right job. What have you got in mind?
No, I'm just interested. I could see a situation where, like, if I was in that situation where the boundaries would slowly wander.
Yeah.
I guess I was just interested to know if you sort of considered that. And I suppose, thinking about it, your like the stress issue, that's still there.
Yeah.
Bigger projects are more stressful.
They are more stressful. What I'm doing differently this time, I've got the fantastic Leon, who I believe you've met.
Ah, lovely Leon.
Oh, he's just great, isn't he?
Yeah.
top lad.
Such a smiley chap.
Yeah, he's just a great human being. He's a fantastic human. But what I'm doing this time round, I've kind of got like Leon as my right-hand man. So we're working together. He's not a tradesperson particularly. I'm kind of training him up, but he's come more from a hospitality background.
Right.
So he's fantastic with people, got great customer service, really organised. So we work closely together, and he helps me. He does a lot of the organising, a lot of the communication if we need deliveries or a skip, a scaffold, whatever may need sorting as part of the build. He's organising that, which it's about splitting the load. Collaboration.
Hey.
What it goes back to, isn't it? It's building the right team, having them in the right role.
Yeah. Not having your carpenter being a scaffolder and,
Yeah.
or doing marketing or...
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. So, yeah. No, it does all go back to collaboration. Yeah, exactly right.
It's a thought I've been having a lot recently.
And we're all too detached from that in the society as a whole, really, aren't we?
Ooh, you're going deep.
We are, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of pushed to be like an individual or to, go at it alone. Well, it's not, there's never been another time in human history where we've had to like go at it alone. We're tribal animals that have built society in nice little clay huts. All comes back to the clay.
Yeah.
And lived together and cooperated and collaborated. Now we're just kind of segregated and, split into
Sad.
It is, really. It is.
I mean, we're sad.
Oh, right.
Like we're all depressed and segregated and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is, there's no other real time. It's like, again, we are going deep now, but it would kind of come from corporate greed, really.
Oh.
Because it's, everyone's out to just do their job, pay the taxes, go home, essentially, aren't they? It's not about kind of living a well-rounded, fulfilled life in a society. It's everyone needs to own their own house, their own car, have their own bills, because if we all did live a little bit more collaboratively, that pot's not split 10 ways, is it?
Yeah.
We've gone deep.
How can we shallow this?
Aerogel?
Nice one, Julz. That was brilliant. I had a really nice time talking to Julz. As you probably heard, there was a lot of chuckling. There is a whole nother 25 minutes bonus content available to our Patreon supporters. And what we chat about is, I pose the question to Julz, what's your favourite insulation? Spoiler, it's hemp. But I tell you what, chalk gets a lot of attention too. There is also advert-free listening. If you feel like you want to support the podcast, then it really does help it get made. The next few episodes you're going to hear, I was driving all around the country, which is quite an expensive thing to do. So yeah, any support, gratefully received. We talked a little bit about Will Stanix. Will did indeed return my call, and he has just sent me some clay plaster for our job down here on the estate I live on. I can't wait to be putting some beautiful clay on the walls. Very, very excited about that. I wanted to take this opportunity as well to tell you about a few books that I'm currently reading that you may well be interested in. The first one is Nature's Calendar, The British Year in 72 Seasons. This book takes on I believe, Japanese tradition where they divide up the year into 72 5 or 6 day chunks. And they're each given a little heading depending on what's sort of happening at that time, or what is generally happening at that time. Let me pick some at random there. So 21st to the 25th of May is Frothy Hawthorn. 6th to the 10th of June is Dancing Dragonflies. 21st to the 26th of June, Thunderbugs and Fizzing Elderflower. Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. There's a little entry, just a few pages for each one of these micro seasons, and it might look at folklore, it might look at science, and it might just be a little musing on that topic. And every month starts with a noticing exercise. I'm going to read you January's noticing exercise. The shortest and darkest days of the year are upon us, but this means that the light is growing quickly. On the 1st of January, at Dunsop Bridge, Lancashire, roughly the centre point of Great Britain, the sun sets around 1558. Yet by the 1st of February, it will be light until 1650. This month, take a moment to watch the sky change colour as the sun dips beyond the horizon. Watch out for the way the hues on the sunset change with different weather conditions, and let the clouds form imaginary shapes as they are lit from the shifting angles. Observe twilight creeping in a few minutes later each day, and take note of that changing quality of light that comes with the lengthening evenings. That's a nice point for January, isn't it? So I will be reading along with this book throughout the year, and it feels lovely to have a book companion, just bringing my focus to particular plants or explaining the science behind things. It's really just a beautiful thing with gorgeous little illustrations too. And the second book I've got called The Magical Year by Danu Forrest, Seasonal Celebrations to Honour Nature's Ever-Turning Wheel. And this book is also one that I'm going to read throughout the year. It is talking about the ancient Celtic festivals and celebrations that were had throughout the year to mark the important points of the yearly cycle. That's summer and winter solstices, spring and autumn equinoxes, and then the 4 fire festivals, which are Imbolc, Beltane, Lunasa, and Samhain. And getting these 2 books has really come from a desire just to be rooted in the place I'm at and the seasons we're in, and really dig into the history, the folklore, the traditions of a life more connected to nature. So those are 2 which I will be reading throughout the year. It feels nice actually to have a sort of reading project to go along with my day-to-day life. And I'm also reading The Dispossessed, which was anyone that listened to the Yule episode, my gift from Mike by Ursula K. Le Guin. And it's fantastic. I haven't been so captivated by a story in a long time. So thanks again to Mike for that lovely gift. You'll find links to all those books in the show notes if you fancy a read yourself. As well as those books, recently I have just listened to the BBC Sounds series by India Rakison called Witch, and that was actually recommended by one of the guests from this podcast. I'd highly recommend having a listen to that. It's 13 parts, half an hour each. It will unpick all you think you know about witches. Is that all I've got? Please share this podcast, share it far and wide. That's very much appreciated. And I guess I just wish you all the best for 2024. And I'm very much excited to bring you lots more in the way of conversations, hopefully to inspire you to build beautiful things with lovely, lovely materials. Until next time, see ya.